Hello everybody. Today talk about the interesting invent and my name is Viviana Martinez and start the history of 3D printers. First, who invented the 3D printers? The history of 3D printer and its development. The earliest record of 3D printer was made by the Japanese inventor Hideo Kodama in 1988. A product was created by him that used ultraviolet light to harden polymers and created solid objects. This is a stepping stone to stereolithographic SLA. But the first 3D printer was invented in 1983 by American Chuck Hull. The following year, he patented printing using the system, and in 1986 founded his Hull company, 3D System, the first 3D print company. Stereolithographic was invented by Charles Hull. This is a process similar to 3D printing that uses technology to create smaller versions of objects so they can be tested before spending time and money on creating the actual product. The object is printed layer by layer, rinsed with a solvent and hardened with an ultraviolet light. The 3D are used by the process computer aided design (CAD) to create models. Selective laser sintering (SLS) is another or more advanced form of 3D printing. Objects are created by using additive manufacturing and power pulling typical nylon. SLS use a laser to fuse two powers together layer by layer into more complex shapes. Thus, SLS is capable of creating fuses. The position modeling FDM developed by Scott Trump is the most common form of 3D printing today. It is known as the desktop 3D printers because it's the most commonly used form of the technology. To form an object, the printer head cover of thermoplastic into liquid from and extrude it layer by layer. Overall, 3D printer has changed and improved over the past 50 years. SLS, SLS, A, and FDM show the history of 3D printer and thus how it become a vital tool for manufacturing. It allows you make beautiful anything simple by creating a composite file. Other thing that is interesting is you can make many things. A fluid and material to building a house and processes could be made by the 3D printer in a short time, although we know that need many studies to create more things. This is very interesting because we know and we create a complex things by the 3D printer. The first 3D dimension objects on the market were created by the 3D Systems company. This company was the pioneer in the world. Another company was Strategy in 1988 to make revolutionary objects, and a very mentioned one was Proto Labs in 1999. Nowadays, we can find different companies creating 3D printed objects, like Hewlett Packard (HP), other of European origin, like the Belgian Materialis, or the German SLM solution. This technology was made at the beginning by SLA or stereolithography, but with time alternatives were added, such as FDE, fuses deposition modeling, and SLS, selective laser sintering. The processes that are used by 3D printers are complex, since all companies use mostly the same process, which is layer by layer. Taking into account the difference will be in the object to be made and the materials to be used. Objects were made by a 3D printers. First, clock with the phrase of the month. With 3D technology and set of lights, the inventor has managed to reproduce the phase of the month according to the time marked on a table clock. 2. The world's largest 3D printed boat. The ship was 3D printed by the University of Mainz in October 2019, and 3 Guinness World Records were won by this university, creating the world's largest boat by using the world's largest polymer 3D printer. 3. An electric violin made by 3D printer. An impressive 3D printed violin was designed by a musician in 2013. The 3D virus happens to be a fully functional musical instrument that really stands out from the crowd. 4. The world's first house built by 3D printing. The first 3D printed use was designed by a private Chinese company with some in 2014. For large 3D printers were used to build the walls. 5. Edible prints. A 3D printing device that could 3D print sweets and trees made by 3D Systems announced the ChefJet Pro 3D in 2015. You can create something edible with flavors such as chocolate, mint, stuffed apple, cherry, and watermelon. 6. Pure soccer boots made by 3D printing. Vapor Laser Talon soccer boots designed by Nike in 2013. These were the first 3D printed soccer boots designed for athletes with a lightweight design and powerful traction grips. And 7. Bioprinting tissue engineering organs made by 3D printers to create tissue-like structures that can be made by using 3D bioprinting. 3D bioprinting is the manufacturing process of depositing materials known as bioinks to develop replacement tissue and organs for use in the treatment of injury and disease.